Hello, my name's Keith Betcher. We are in my fifth and final workshop in Asheville, North Carolina, where my wife and I moved to for our retirement. I worked for the General Electric Aviation Company for 37 years building jet engines in Cincinnati. I was the Industrial Equipment Facilities Engineer for the Advanced Technology Group for 20 years. The shop you're in started out, in high school, I took industrial arts shop for 2 years. I was banging a project every 2 weeks. I loved it. And my family background, I had a grandfather who was an auto mechanic, another one was a self-made engineer. In this shop, every machine in here but one has been upgraded 1 to 5 times. Buy the best piece of equipment you can afford, take good care of it, keep the manuals, keep the spare parts. When you're ready to upgrade, put it up for sale. I typically would do Craigslist. I have upgraded almost every machine in the shop. And right now there's nothing I'd do different if you handed me a lottery winning ticket. It has fulfilled everything I need. It's basically a wood shop. It's a repair shop. I fix things for people. I design some things and build them, and we'll show you those later. Most of the cabinetry that's in the shop is the 1950s kitchen cabinets your grandparents had. I would go to Habitat, buy these cabinets for $10, $20, clean them up, paint them, pinstripe them. My trademark is my initials with the K backwards, KHB. You'll see that later. But I don't have $100 in cabinetry, not counting the tops, and yet it's been a very functional shop. Most of the machines are on wheels, so I can move things around. I used to have a typical double bag 2 horsepower dust collector with 4-inch pipe. I left that in Cincinnati. I sold it to a friend of mine, and I knew I wanted to upgrade to a Cyclones system because at GE I learned how important dust collection was, and a Cyclone is much more efficient than a double bag filter. I was thinking of buying a Unida, a Laguna, or a Powermatic unit. I joined the Western North Carolina Woodworkers Association, and 2 of those members had a Clearview dust collector. I'd never heard of Clearview. One of those owners allowed me to use his workshop during the 2 years it took us to build this house. So I got to actually use a Clearview dust collector in normal operations, and I became a believer instantly. If I had to do it again, there is nothing I would change in the dust collector. It has exceeded my expectations. My friends come in my shop and accuse me of never using it because it's so clean. And I said, no, what you got to understand is I know where my tools are. My wood is labeled in terms of what it is and its size. My wife gives me something to do. I can find the wood, I can find the tools, I can cut, clean up, assemble, put the tools away, and I'm out of my shop before most of my friends even find their tools. In my shop, the center of the shop is the table saw. I built a sled. I wanted protection, guarding, and I wanted dust collection. We found Rockler makes a very flexible tube. I can set up and cut with no problem. If I have a large piece of wood, the guard comes right off, and I can cut a large piece of wood. Some roller conveyor from work. It has legs that drop down. I can split a piece of wood. One piece of wood keeps moving, the other stops. That's why this is right on center line with the blade. Works out perfect. Now I want to sand. Little vacuum connected to my sander. When I turn the sander on, I'm sucking and pulling simultaneously, no dust. Now, for storage of wood, I had this little area that I had no choice to do it because I needed 17 feet. I ended up buying 5 10-foot 2x4s and putting them in vertical. And the first rack will hold 16 feet up here, 8 foot, 5 foot, 24 inches, and 12, 13 inches going that way. And it has been just phenomenal. I can store the wood, I can find it fast. Okay. My miter saw, it's a 1950 sink base. I repainted, pinstriped it, put a door on it, put my miter saw on it. Because this is a sliding compound, I need lots of depth. And I can open the wings if I'm doing angle cuts. Open the air and it gets everything. The clear view is pulling so much air. Very rarely do I have dust out this side. It gets 95% of the dust. And miter saws are one of the hardest things to capture dust. Over here's my bandsaw. It's on wheels. It's a 14-inch Laguna. It's got double 4-inch openings for the dust collector, so I'm collecting dust right under the blade, under the table where the blade goes, and at the bottom of the machine, and that works really well. Typical belt and disc grinder, I go from 4-inch to 2-inch or 2.5 inch on this one, and then this blast gate will turn on both machines, no big deal. On my router table, I have a 4-inch into the table and a 2-inch into the fence, and I get 85% of the dust, sometimes 90%, without any problem. Over here, I have a spindle, and it's also a edge sander, depending on which attachment you put in. It's running on a 2-inch line. This is you set it wherever you want, it stays put. And this works really great for drill presses. Really like that. My joiner, it's on wheels, so I can pull it forward, do my joint. I can move it. If I need to get 8 foot, I can do that. This is my newest machine. I just bought this about 8 months ago. It's a 15-inch carbide tipped planer with 2.5 horsepower, 240 volt. I used to have the DeWalt 735, which is a great planer, but it was only 110 volt, and I would pop the thermal overload more than I wanted to. So I went with a higher one. I built some cabinets with doors. I needed to drum sand them. And one of my friends in the club had a drum sander, and I got to find out how important a drum sander was. Had an opportunity to buy one, but I didn't have any room in the shop to put it. So I came up with this. I had a hydraulic lift table, and I used the hydraulic lift table to move my big lathe. So I put the sander on the table. But then if I use this, I wanted to use the lift table, I had to lift the 85-pound sander off the table. I thought, well, that's stupid. So I built a 5-sided box, mounted the drum sander to the box. I can now get it up to working height. I can hook a hose to it. I can sand. I can store it out of the way. Whoops. And if I want the table, I still got the table. We are standing in a storage room underneath the front porch. It's not heated, not air conditioned, concrete walls, and I mounted some OSB and hung my dust collector on it. I blew a hole through 1.5-inch concrete wall to get the main trunk line into the shop. I bought a 30-gallon barrel. I have the safety circuit that if I fill up the barrel, it shuts the dust collector down before we backfill the filter. And I put a MagnaHealy on it to tell me the back pressure of the filter if I needed to clean it. And after 5 years of use, it is not showing any back pressure at all. The filter is working that well. The big test, and the thing my wife was worried about, is dust coming through this filter and coating my shelving with a film of dust. And after 5 years, we've never cleaned the shelves. There is no dust to clean. It is that efficient for my shop and how I use it. And I wouldn't change a thing.